Thank you. It is very interesting that you've touched on, it's like you had a gist of my questions. You've already preempted some of the main questions I could, pose to you. But having touched on the same, Wajir is a place, has its own fair share of problems. From within, the time of revolution inception up to now, regardless of who became the governor, that is known to many and sundry. And it has, you must have been surprised watching, Wajir for the wrong reasons in your bedroom and, surprisingly saying one day, I'll come to make a changes in my hometown. Now that you have all the composition of what it takes to be a leader, I would like to, ask you for the sake of our viewers, what is your readiness? How ready are you in terms of dealing with corruption in the service delivery sector and benchmarking yourself with the already existing main problems? Namely, there is this outstanding rivalry of politicians every 5-year cycle. A governor is installed, a political member X want to countermand or dictate to the governor on nitty-gritties. These are among the few, but not the entirely problems we have. But how are you bracing yourself to handle those issues of making sure you have a good strict balance between the leadership, the political elite of the county, vis-a-vis service delivery, that are, most oftenly, what do they call, interwoven. The next is, within the same, breath, corruption is a mega issue in terms of, what do they call, development. With the corruption, practices, a leader, however best skilled he is, he or she might not see, the exact fruition of their motive. What is your yardstick in measuring problems of Wajir in terms of corruption and solving the disunity factor that arises every 5 years between leaders?
I can tell you for a fact, the first question is about the influence of political leadership in the running of Wajir government. There are many stakeholders in this corporate organization called Wajir County. The main stakeholder is the people. That's the main stakeholder is the people. The people itself have different organizational structures, and one of them is the political leadership. But when you are given a mandate, by the people, as the Americans say, the government is by the people, whatever those things that they say, for the people. I come from a point of view that if the leader is not corrupt, then the system will rectify itself. Because if I am corrupt, then everybody will be corrupt. Starting from my immediate office will be corrupt. If I'm not corrupt, then I will hold everybody to task in respect of their level of corruption. So that's one. Two, it's important to indicate here that inshallah we will set up structures that will allow the communities to participate directly and transparently in their own governance. If, for example, there's a contract, assume there's a contract, the contract will be advertised. It will be given to the best, the lowest bidder for that matter. And as usual in government processes, then that process will be certified on a continuous basis. And the certificate of payment will depend on an actual inspection of that project, and will be paid, because contracts have time limits. They have specifications. They have obligations. For example, if I promise you that I'll pay you 100 shillings per day, then it must come to that 100 shillings within the day that it was specified. So you must pay on time, and the gentleman and the lady who was given the contract must do the contract within the specified time. So contracts are fair. As at one time, I remember, I was given, I came into an organization where a building was being constructed for 10 years. It never ended, because the building not ending, being built, the construction continually going on, meant that there are some people who are benefiting inappropriately. So these things happen in corporate organizations, but if the organization has institutional structures to remedy those processes, then this is something that you can finish within a few months, if not weeks.
Banking on your medical background, there's a question that lingers into the mind of many, many supporters and actually the residents of this county. In no doubt that will bring a difference to the health sector. They say a healthy nation is a wealthy nation.
Yes, it is.
If we can't talk about health, then any other thing will be, they will just be secondary. That said, how will your leadership be influenced by your medical background? Will we expect to see Dr. Hassan go into the theater, a governor, attending to cases, and maybe even, bridging the gap of Wajir is suffering from shortage of high-level medical personnel like yours? It will be the first time when maybe we will have, a consultant gynecologist as a governor. Could you see that as an opportunity for the people of Wajir? And will you be found working with, medical personnel attending to, areas that attract your attention, even if it is going to take the surgical blade and going to attend to a patient in a theater?
I want to appeal to the women of Wajir, the women and the youth of Wajir, to indicate to them that their health needs, because women are the cornerstone of our families and communities, and women do have significant health burden compared to men. I want to appeal to women and youth. If they want leadership that responds to their health need, they should support me, because I've been involved in the health policy and program and management for over 30 years. Health is an important element of our daily living. The youth, we need a significant policy consideration. I have actually been involved in many aspects of and this touches actually on our security as well. The youth must have an urgent, appropriate intervention to support them in all fields, either education, employment, self-employment, whatever it is that needs to be done in order to engage them. Our youth have had a challenge. I know that the whole country has challenge with youth empowerment and employment, but ours is much more pronounced and significant than other communities, and must be dealt with considering the problems that we have across the border. Me going to theater, currently I only go to theater once in a while. There are many, I'm glad to say so, that there are many young people from Northeastern who are becoming health professionals, and they only call me once in a while when they have a problem in theater. If that arises, I certainly would do that, but because of my background, you'll find me in the hospital more often than not, making sure that not just the Wajir hospital, but all the sub-county hospitals, to make sure that services are delivered appropriately and quickly as necessary.
How impressive will you be thinking the situation of health in terms of the infrastructure that we have, health infrastructure we have, starting from the Wajir Referral Hospital, that has been basically in the national headlines for far too long for the wrong reasons. But now having the right person for that matter in your 100 days, are there indicators that you can give out?
I certainly, God willing, will, if I become the governor, inshallah, will sort out the issues of the main hospital within months, maybe within 100 or 120 days, something like that. That would be, but more importantly, set up the referral system. Strengthen the sub-county hospitals so that a girl or a woman does not need to be transferred from Butte or from Wajir South to the main hospital. That will increase the powers and the competences of the sub-county hospitals within the same period, inshallah. We will only, say within 2 or 3 years, will only be referring major medical issues to whatever it's necessary, but deal with the primary issues quickly here in Wajir, inshallah.
That answer there, I would like to draw your attention to the water crisis in this county. It will be unfair of me if I don't touch on the same in this interview. Could you slightly touch on, because you will have your full day in terms of, it's just an outlook of your manifesto for water without delving deeper into it. Do you have, a ready solution for that matter, or a plan or policy to fix the water situation? Because the people of Wajir are glaring at a extremely inadequate level of water, at domestic use level even, leave alone, other uses. So if water is now that situation, then there's no doubt people are yearning for leadership that will have a direct touch on the improvement towards the water resources.
I'm sure there are policies that have already been established by the relevant departments, in terms of meeting the needs, water needs in this water scarce county. I suspect that there must be some level of water mapping, water resource mapping that has been done. I suspect that how to deliver this water resource mapping to the communities must be there. I think the main issue obviously would be involving the relevant communities and then getting the resources necessary to provide that water resource to the communities. I, as a governor, inshallah, will make sure that water, because I think the main issue, because just because these are two groups, the urban communities and the rural communities. The rural livestock communities is about water and pasture. So they must have policies about value addition, policies on grazing, policies on pasture. All those things must be done, and we must go back to the base. In fact, in the colonial times, the British government did have programs to regulate. Of course, the animals population was less and the people were less, but regulate these processes. Must go back to the basics, develop programs and policies that meet this water need, the water and pasture needs. For urban communities, it needs significant investment in terms, because you think about sewage and water supply. That must be done, inshallah, and is an important issue that I must address within these 5 years. If not only just to set up the policy direction, the bird's eye view where we want to go, but start the process of mobilizing resources completely for those endeavors.
Wajir County entails two arms. There is the executive and the legislature. Both of these arms are independent and interdependent at the same time. One for laws legislation, laws making, which will enhance service delivery and adoption of policies for the executive to run. There are some issues of dispute between the two, mostly, maybe for reasons of transparency from the executive or the lack of it in the other end of the assembly. Should you oversee a government whose two departments are friendly, independent, and serving the interest of the public and not theirs? And how accountable is Dr. Hassan's leadership going to be? Transparent to the extent nothing will be worried of? And how ready are you to work with the county assembly as an arm, which is very important to helping you deliver better to the people?
I think with regard to the executive, inshallah, I will make this government transparent, open, and accountable to the people. Accountable to the people. I will not be a governor who will live in Nairobi. I'll be a governor who will stay in Wajir, inshallah, every day of my governorship. Maybe 1 or 2 weekends, maybe I'll not be there, but I'll be here every day, day in, day out. So the executive, which is my immediate responsibility, would be open, transparent, and just, and discharge its obligation in consultation with the communities, because that is provided by law. The law is very clear on how you deal with these matters. With regard to the parliament, inshallah, all organizations have some levels of friction in terms of interaction, because whenever they are human beings, there are issues that need to be resolved. We'll be consultative, we'll be engaging them continuously. It's about information sharing and fairness. Once the people see that, I don't think there'll be a big issue. Obviously, if there are issues that are not in the interest of public good, then that one will try and resolve in an open and clear manner.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hassan. What message will you send to the people of Wajir who are watching you optimistic that they are seeing change in the offing in terms of leadership, and they are seeing a doctor now going to the Helem to take care about the affairs?
I want to tell the people of Wajir, my brothers, my sisters, our children, our youth, our women, Assalamu alaikum. I am bringing my application to you for the position of governor. I have the experience, the capacity, all that is necessary to be able to provide you with good leadership, inshallah. I ask the women, particularly women of and the young ladies of Wajir, to think about their families and their livelihoods and their health, and if they do so, then I would urge them to support me, because I certainly would be the strongest forerunner in this governance, because I have been dealing with the issues for the last 30-40 years. I want to particularly urge the youth, to support me, so that, because I think that the core issue of the challenges we have, may it be security, may it be development, because development needs them, security also needs them in many aspects of security, that they must be the core element of society in our development, inshallah. So I've submitted my certificate and application to you. I'll submit in the process of this election all my credentials to you. You have the form that decides who comes in and who doesn't come out, and that is called the voter card. Let the people and the politicians who use clanism, tribalism, small issues to confuse you, so that you don't have a bird's eye view of what is happening now and where you want to go. You must think of the halqa, you must think about your future, you must think about what your children's children will benefit in Wajir, because it's important. I certainly am thinking of those issues, and that's what has brought me here. Please support me and vote for me, inshallah.
Thank you, Dr. Hassan, for giving us your time. I'm sure the people of Wajir have heard you very loud and clear, and they're going to make their decision in giving you the leadership mantle of governorship in this county. We wish you all the best as we look forward to more interaction and more interviews, inshallah, to even delve deeper into your manifesto, now that we have just touched on the outlook. Yes. We wish you all the best in your political endeavors.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Jazakallah. Wabillahi tawfiq.